The cost? Sure. So the way that this program works is it's basically a need-based sliding scale, and the full paying tuition is $26,000 for a semester, which is obviously an exorbitant amount of money. The reason it is so expensive is because 30% of that revenue goes to subsidize students who can't afford that much. So it's, the average private school usually gives around 15 to 20% of their revenue back to financial aid. We're trying to double that because what we really care about is making this an accessible program. And we also really believe that the environmental sort of crisis that we all face is one of the few things that affects everyone in the world, and that we really need to be able to come together to work on. So sort of both for the abstract social justice cause, but also really on an academic and programmatic level, we sort of believe that we have to bring people from different walks of life together. We have a retired CFO from the Athenian School, which is out in Danville, who's helped us sort of rework the whole business model so that we really can help students who can't afford them. That was sort of our number one priority when building the business model. Like I said, if we were in it to get rich, there are way easier, smarter things to do than try to start semester education programs. Yeah, see on our sample schedule, the kids are booked and supervised from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day, whether it's doing chores, whether it's doing work on the site, whether it's being in their courses, whether it's doing their homework and studying. And then on top of that, we're taking them on trips to really enjoy kind of all the incredible things going on in this region. And not going to be like bell rings at 3:30, let's go outside and smoke dope in the street, right? This is like, the kids are booked, and the whole point of them being here is to be fully immersed in what's going on. So we're not really inventing that model, right? So you can go to Napa and you can sit outside of the Oxbow School and see if you ever see a student leave their campus, and then you won't because they're just so busy, right? And that's sort of the whole point of this kind of program. There's no way we're getting anything done in under 2.5 or 3 years, and I think that's probably pretty optimistic. 2 bodies in California that deal with accreditation. The first is called WASC, which stands for the Western Association of Schools and Colleges, and they're basically the main accrediting group. And then the UC system, their college entry requirements actually are what are used to evaluate most high school courses, and they have a system called UC's A through G requirements. So by satisfying those requirements, your credits basically become transferable to any public school, charter school, private school, whatever it is. And that's a process that all schools go through, but it basically involves writing up what the courses are and demonstrating that they're rigorous. And then the idea would be to finish this building, to make it auditorium, finished classrooms, and certain amounts of the building this is what we've been thinking about all along, and it would have to get worked out, but that like certain parts of the building would be available always, 24/7, 365 days a year for the community, and the rest of it would be scheduled out. So when the kids aren't here on a weekend, obviously full domain. When the kids are here, we figure out what classrooms they're going to need, what classrooms the schools need. So from that, a group called the Hyphae Design Lab, and they're a sort of very radical, ecologically focused architecture firm, an environmental engineering firm, and landscaping firm that's based out of Oakland. And their whole approach to any sort of design thinking is to start with the ecology, right? And that's really why we've kind of enlisted their help in this project, is not just to send it off to an environmental engineer who's sort of unrelated to everything and an outside consultant, but to have at the center of putting together this proposal someone who starts with this understanding the environment and uses that as sort of the core for what they're planning going forward.
Repeat the name.
Sure. Yeah, I'll write it up here. It's called the Hyphae Design Lab, which has kind of a funny spelling. So Hyphae is the network that lives underground in mushrooms. That's correct.